Hey guys, Miranda Mantica is here, psychic channeler, spiritual teacher. Okay, I want to do a little addition to the witch wound healing that I think is relevant, and I'm going to try to bring this all together and make it make sense. And I want to kind of start it with this saint that's really special to my family. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to grab a picture of this saint and I'm going to show you. Okay, 1 second. Okay, guys. Do you see this? This is Saint Nektarios, okay? He is a saint in the Greek Orthodox Church. Very beautiful. This is like a hand-painted, gold-leafed version of him that I ordered from Greece, okay? He's very special to my family because when my husband was born, he almost died, and he had to have immediate emergency surgery as an infant. And his parents prayed to Saint Nektarios to protect him and to heal him and carry him through this, and he survived, of course, and was named Nektarios as his middle name, okay? But let's talk about Nektarios for a second. So, because he's special to my family, I often talk to him and I channel him, and what I was told is that he was an aspect of Christ. And I know that for the traditional Christian, that may be hard to hear because they don't understand, nor have they been taught that a soul can live many lifetimes and reincarnate, and does reincarnate many times to help, right? And that's what Christ always told me, is that he's come many times to assist the planet. He's appeared in every place, you know. That's why the one story that we have in the Bible is not the whole story, right? So I feel like this is relevant to tie this into the whole witch wound thing, because I want to tell you a little bit about what happened to Saint Nektarios when he was on the planet. Okay, he was a priest who really lived more the life of a monk. Okay, he did not want to be elevated in the church. He was very much just a gentle and quiet man. He actually, because he was very gifted and the people loved him, okay, the archbishops and the higher ups in the church did not like him, right? Sound familiar? And he had many giftings in the spirit, which really gave him sort of I would say, an intuitive gift to understand what people needed to heal and help them, okay? And so in very much the pattern of the church, I hate to put it like this, but any of the bigger churches, and even some of the little ones, and that's why I'm not very super crazy about religion, but they basically ostracized him. You know, the people wanted him to lead them because he was gentle and kind, but the church hated him. And so they publicly humiliated him. They accused him of crimes he did not commit. They basically tossed him out. We'll put it like that. He used his own money to build a small monastery for nuns. And I don't remember how many women lived there, but they wanted to be nuns, and the church would not accept them. But Saint Nektarios accepted them and used his own salary to build it and supply whatever they needed. And there's like a whole film I think you can watch about his story, which is worthy of watching. You can look up a movie about Saint Nektarios, Nektarios, okay? iOS. It will touch your heart. But on his deathbed, he died of cancer. This is why he's known to be a healer of cancer, by the way. And on his deathbed, there was a man dying next to him who was immediately healed when he died. And that's why they recognized that he was truly a gift from God. And of course, I hate to be so critical of the church, but just like they always do, once the person's gone, they acknowledge who they really were. Isn't that a power play? So basically, they did not treat him with love. And only the people who knew him knew how special he was and how gentle and kind. And he's actually come to me in many dreams. He's just a loving, beautiful, wise soul, and an aspect of the Christ, which is so special. But the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think that, for my followers on my page or anybody who sees this that might be still in the church or not understand what I mean by witch wound, I wanted to kind of elaborate on that because I feel like if you look at your martyred saints, okay, you'll understand that the witch wound is everybody, okay? When we say witch wound, it doesn't have to be like what we think of as a witch, right? A psychic or a card reader or an herbalist or, whatever. No, it's everybody that was sent by God to help the planet in any kind of way, okay? And at this point, I feel almost every single person on the planet is carrying a witch wound, okay? And I just like to tie that in because in my heart and soul, I care about everyone, all people, whether you're religious, not religious, whatever your background is, wherever you come from, however you feel, whatever you identify as, I love you. And I always try to deliver my messages in a way that's like going to help everybody the best I can. So I feel like if we're going to outreach to the church crowd as well, I want them to understand that the gift they have, like for instance, when you go to a charismatic church and they speak in the Holy Spirit and they speak in tongues, in some centuries, they would have been killed for that gift. That's why sometimes they don't get their light language until later, until they're brave enough to let it come through. This is why sometimes when I do hypnosis sessions and past life regressions, there are people that, they'll start to just cry in their session because they finally can get their story out because they were so locked up. Okay. And that, by the way, can manifest as pain in the body and issues in the body and all that stuff. Okay. So there's a lot of interconnectedness here, but I wanted to kind of bridge that gap a little bit and say, hey, to my church goers, to my friends and family and loved ones who are very religious still, please understand you're holding a witch wound as well. And the thing about the psychics and the channelers and the seers, okay, all the ancient prophets were seers, even the ones in the Bible, okay, Daniel, just all the Old Testament prophets. Go back and read their stories. Jonah in the belly of the fish for 3 days. Okay, those 3 days in the dark, that was a rite of passage. That was a rite of knowing a goddess and God test, okay? There's so much in the Bible, so much allegory, metaphor that's related to the witch wound. There are classes, I'm sure, being taught about this, I hope. But I talk about it in my teachings because I want people to understand that the story is there. It's right in front of our face, but we just missed it because we were asleep. Okay? So that being said, there's an important message. So I'm going to try to make this a quick one. If you're feeling foot pain right now, okay? The other day when I made the post about Egypt and the true ancient land, okay, and just started getting that out, I felt so much relief in my right foot, which used to hurt a lot. It has gotten better over the years, but sometimes I would still feel it. But obviously that was a message from my guide saying, that's right, tell the story, right? And so that simple knowing urged me to say more, okay, about this, because my body gives me these little signals sometimes when I need to tell the collective something. And that is that there's an ancient prophecy in the Bible. And I don't think it's just in the Bible. There may be some other like holy books that talk about this, but it's the prophecy of the destruction of the false matrix, okay? What we call the false matrix is written about in the book of Revelation. And it goes back to sort of the wounding of the snake, right? That wounded Christ in the heel. And then Christ like delivers this death blow. There's like this prophecy about it. Now, I have different interpretations of this prophecy from what I've seen, okay? But the point is, there's something about the crown and the foot right now. And this is a very complex message. When I tell you that when I channel it, I get a lot of different information on it. It is not a simple thing for me to say to anyone right now. That's why I'm not going into all the details yet until I have a clearing from the goddess to do it. But if you feel foot pain right now, you may be involved in this prophecy in some way, okay? And it doesn't have to be a Christian thing. It is not. This is a worldwide prophecy. Even in the Bible, it's considered a worldwide prophecy. It's not specific to any particular group. This is everybody. If you're feeling those pains in the feet, I'm hearing look into your past, okay? Look into your past and be willing to go to other lifetimes as well. Do not just search this lifetime to see where you started, where this injury started, okay? This is just the memory, okay? This is the reminder that something happened way back, okay? You may be feeling collectively the wounding of Christ on the cross, right? You may be feeling some other lifetime. The Christ has come many times, he has told me, and Mary Magdalene has come many times. And so there is no limit to this. We have to stop putting God in a box, right? When we put God in a box, by the way, we put ourselves in a box. So if you don't want to be in a box, if you like your freedom, don't restrict God, okay? But that being said, you know, we need to start looking at this, and I'm feeling it's a collective message. I did a little miniature session with a friend of mine this morning, and we talked about this a lot. She gets pain in the left foot. For me, it was the right foot, which, by the way, in hypnosis, the right side represents the masculine in the present time. The left side represents the feminine in the past. So there's a message in whatever side of the body you feel pain in, or if you feel in it in the center, that has a meaning too. So just know that there's like a body coding to how to decipher pain in the body. That can help you on your journey. And like I have said in so many videos, please consider having sessions done. It does not have to be with me. Do it with whatever practitioner you're comfortable with. But sometimes getting that perspective brought in helps you get the healing you need, okay? So awakening and remembering is healing. So anyone on a healing journey is on an awakening journey, okay? And anyone awakening will heal. It's just how it works. So when you get those little nuggets of truth, it can change everything, and it's going to change everything, and that's what we want, right? So I just wanted to touch on that a little more, because I just feel like any who may be on my channel that are very religious, I want you to understand this is not just this is a church story too, okay? Your Christian martyrs were psychic. They were channelers, they were prophets, they were dreamers, interpreters, astrologers. They were different, okay? And they were killed by the very church that was supposed to love and protect them. So just remember that. This is the lie that is being exposed. This is what the Christ was so disgusted with when he came in and turned the temple upside down, right? Who came after him? His own people. So when you encounter someone who has these abilities, do not curse them, because remember, the moment you judge them, it's going to come back to you. No matter what they do, they could be the most gentle, loving person. They would never act out or act against you in any way. That is the law of the universe. What you give, you receive. The moment you go and you point the finger at somebody else and you think you're better than them, it's not going to work, okay? We have to stop that. As humanity, we have to stop. And we have to choose love. And that requires discipline on our part. And we need to get control of our thoughts. Okay? That crown. We got to get control of it, right? And we have to listen to the body, the feminine. Okay? And collaborate the two together. This is the tuning and the calibration that God keeps showing me. As we do this, this is what's called sacred union. We're bringing together our masculine and our feminine. We're bringing these things together, and this becomes the divine child that is prophesied to be born during our time. This is not a child per se. This is a collective consciousness that's being birthed. That is the 5D that everybody's talking about, okay? You want to bring in the 5D? Calibrate yourself. You'll be in the 5D. As you do this work, you're going to be in the 5D. There are people living in the 5D already, okay, because they've done the work. So there's so much to be said about this, but this all goes back to those old stories. The reset, the covering up of the true stories of where we live and what land we're on and what happened here, and all of that is connected to the Christ wound, which is the witch wound, okay? What was he? A renegade, a rebel, someone who questioned the system, someone who exposed the lies, and they killed him for it. So if you love Christ, then you have a witch wound, I can tell you, whether you know it or not, because of your compassion for him, because you care that they killed this innocent, beautiful being, okay? So I'm just speaking the truth. the way it comes to me. I hope it helps somebody. I don't even know if anybody needs to see this, but maybe somebody needs to see it. But I just wanted to bridge that world because I want everyone to feel included. I feel that we are all part of the story. Every single one of us important. Every single one of us a piece of the puzzle. And the collective coming together and loving each other and just figuring it out, right? Figuring out that it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to not know why someone's life is different from ours, right? But be okay with it. Let them have their life and you have your life, and start to be loving and accepting and really start to lead through love, okay? One by one, as we do this, we're going to really see more done in this time than ever dreamed possible. And I do have a really good feeling about it, even though we've all been dealing with such heavy emotions, and we're just so ready for love and peace to lead, right? So get in there and do the spiritual work on yourself, right? Get in there and face your wounds and face your hurts and love yourself and get help if you need it, okay? But understand that when we're talking about the witch wound, it is everybody, okay? On some level. Maybe some worse than others, depending on how ancient the soul is. But basically, we all carry it in some way. And let's get in there and do the work on our feet, our roots, okay? Those deeper wounds that are like way down there in the roots need to be faced. And this can be inverted. This came up in conversation with my friend earlier. The roots can be the crown, okay? So, like in some teachings, she was explaining that, you know, it's an upside down thing, right? Like where we thought we began in the roots of the feet is really in the crown, okay? So that goes back to what Thoth always tells me about the rise and the fall and the continuum and the cyclical nature of life. So, yeah, I don't know who this is for. It may not be for everybody, but whoever needs it, I love you. I witness you. I witness myself. And we are healing these things together, you guys. And we're doing the work because we love ourselves and we love each other, okay? And just remember, if you can love yourself, you can love anyone. So always love starts with self. And then we move it into the collective, okay? I love you guys so much. I hope this helps someone. And remember St. Nektarios. He was beautiful, sweet, and kind, and such a great healer and gentle soul, and did not use his gift to oppress people. He used it to help, and I'm proud of him. Love you guys. Bye.